Sticky! You know this is my turf. I'm gonna hit you so hard your mama gonna feel it.
Bring it on, honky!
Right, welcome back people, and welcome to Shed Tune. If you've not been before, welcome. If you're a regular, you'll know that this is my garage. So, after the Camlam video, I had loads of people asking me to do a video of how to fit one of these fuel gauges and senders. So that's what this video is going to be about. Top geared scooter. So after the Camlam video went out, I got asked by loads and loads of people to do a video on fitting one because, well, I guess people want to see if they actually are worth the money. So I reached out to Camlam and said, what's the chances of getting one free of charge? And they said, no problem, Russ, fill your boots. So they sent me a kit. So we're going to have a look at it now and then we're going to fit it. So this is what arrived. 2 boxes. Well, it's in one box, but there's 2 bits. This bit I've opened already because this is, oh, it says the gauge. Pretty sweet, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to fitting this. And there's loads of different ways of mounting, but we'll cover that later. On and off switch, so they can literally turn it on and off. But it's really clear. I'm hoping that that'll be better than my stick that I dip the tank with, so I don't run out of fuel, which obviously I do with the stick method, but there you go. Right, in the other box, oh, I forgot to mention, that's my stick that I use at the moment, 14 litres, look, and I still managed to run out. Anyway, back to the second box. I'll open the second box, some instructions, some more instructions, and then you've got the sender unit and various other bits and pieces. Okay, so that's the actual sender unit. Now they come in different lengths depending on what tank you're fitting it in, and also different caps depending on what tank you're fitting it in. So when you go to order one, if you do order one, then you've just got to know the depth that you need. I think this is the 190, which is for my Diablo tank. You get some mounting brackets, you get some washers so that it can't leak, you get some leads, a PP9 battery if you want to have it 9 volt, because you can have this 9 volt, you can have it DC straight off a battery, or you can have it AC if you've got the power out for your well, to charge a battery or run something else. But I'll show you how to fit them in a bit. Right, so in the box you get 2 sets of instructions. One's the wiring diagram for however you want to connect it, so straightforward, straight to a PP9 battery. So you've got a lead, there you go, which is for the PP9 battery, and they even give a battery. That lead literally plugs into the back of the unit, and once you've mounted it, it's ready to go. Well, obviously once you've connected it to the sender, that is. So we'll put them over there for the minute, out the way. The second lead is the DC one. So that's the DC one again. It connects into the back of there, plugs in, and then you wire it to the DC, which is obviously your battery. The third way of doing it is the way I'm going to be doing it, because my Lammy's an AC, and it's got to take off from the regulator to either charge a battery or run various bits and pieces. The second set of instructions are basically a how-to guide. So it tells you whether you're using option A, option B, option C. It tells you about mounting them with the supplied bracket, where you can and can't do. And then there's little notes about using the PP3, blah, blah, blah. But what you really want to know is how you're going to fit it. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at my scooter, I'll explain what I'm going to do, and then we'll crack on with fitting it. Right, so Shed Tune 83, we run an AC DC system, so we actually run a battery in the toolbox, which I've taken out. It's down there, that goes into here, and what that allows us to do is have a brake light off the battery and a real horn. So rather than when you rev it up the horn changes, we've got a real horn so that we can well, toot people out of the way. And as I said, because mine's got a Varitronic on it, and most of the modern ignitions do have this, the A plus there allows us to have a takeoff to produce power to charge that battery, or if you didn't want to charge a battery you can do other bits and pieces, but that's what we do. Okay, so the first method we're going to try just to demonstrate to you is the PP9 battery one, which is a little pouch that the PP9 battery comes in. I've connected the battery to the gauge, obviously I haven't fitted the gauge yet. It even comes with Wagyu connector clips, so you can try different variations out, and then obviously the sender unit. So I'll put the sender unit in. There you go. We'll turn the gauge on by pressing this little switch, which is there, and it tells me I haven't got any petrol, which I knew, but there you go. Okay, so I ain't got any fuel in it, so I thought I'd dip the tank with the stick just to see what was in there. About 2 litres. Okay, just to show you the general gist, I thought I'd fuel gauge is on. Look, we're full. Hang on a minute, if I get the sender and move it to there. Oh no, we're empty. Now we're full again. Now we're 3/4. I'm such a child. We got a funnel, we got some petrol, we're gonna put it in the scooter. I know you love it when I sing to you. Hooray! That'll do. Fuel tank sender in and twist. Fuel gauge now registers something. So that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? You know, PP9 battery in a little case. The lead is easily long enough to go from here under the frame to wherever you're going to mount it. So the other method, as we spoke about, was DC. So that's wiring it direct to a battery, positive and negative. I would recommend putting a fuse in there just to be on the safe side. And then you literally turn the fuel gauge on, and we should have, it says, what's up here? Oh look, 1/4 tank of fuel. I'm never going to run out again. We hope. Well, I hope. The third method, as we said, is running it via the A+, which is this one here on your regulator. And you literally wire it the same way. So what's going to come out of here into the wiring loom is power. So, or certainly comes into mine. Then I've got a wire that runs down to here, as you can see. And all you do is connect the positive to that, negative to a negative, and then it'll do the same job. But obviously the engine's got to be running for that. Well, that seems straightforward enough, isn't it? But don't forget there is instructions. You know me, I do like some instructions. One of the things I really like about this kit is its simplicity to fit. So the fitting kit they give you is pretty good. So it gives you an option of a stud that you can put into the leg shield horn cover and then mount the bracket onto that. It also gives you an extender and bolt that you can go on if you've got a spare wheel carrier and mount it off of that. I guess there's an L-shaped bracket there that you could, I don't know, put it wherever you want to really. That shows you there that you can just do anything you want. But we going to cut a hole in the toolbox because we've got a toolbox, and according to this if you're going to cut a hole in the toolbox, you need, where does it say? There you go. Screws with leg shield, blah blah blah. If you want to fit the gauge in there, a 52mm hole cutter. And it just so happens I've got one. It's like magic. Watch this. There we go. We've got a 52mm hole cutter, and we're going to cut a hole in the toolbox. Hope I get it in the right place, and then we'll be able to fit the gauge there. What could go wrong? One hole cutter to cut hole for there, and the idea is we're going to put it not there because there's not enough room. Okay, we're going to have to move this, and then hopefully there'll be enough room to cut a hole somewhere around here. Okay, so that's that moved out of the way, and now we've got loads of room. So if we were to put this, let's say there, then I think we would have room for the rev counter as well. So I'm just trying to work out if the gauge was here where I've marked, would I still be able to see it easily enough? I guess so, yeah. Looks like it should fit. Right, let's get the drill bit. Okay, wish me luck. Well, we have a hole. Let's just hope it's in the right place. Better clean it up. What a mess fiberglass makes, eh? Let's fingers crossed that this fits. Otherwise I'll be crying. Okay. Come on. It fits. Hey, it don't look bad either, does it? Let's put this bit on the wire and clamp it up. I was very worried then. I know you wouldn't. Ta-da! Oh, well chuffed at that. All we've got to do now is run the wires down through the leg shields, which I've already got a hole down here, look, for my power, underneath the leg shields to the sender unit, which in theory will take, it'll probably take forever knowing my luck, but let's have a look, see what we can do. Right, so I've threaded the wires through my hole there, and it's now come out under here. Now I've got to find a route for it to go along under the scooter. I've actually got a temperature gauge wire, so I might thread it down the same route as that, and then up to here, remembering to leave enough wire here so that when you take that out to fill up, you can get it in and out no problem at all. We've got to thread this wire under the leg shields, and what I've found is I found a bit of welding wire or something like an old wire coat hanger would do it, and I've threaded it through. So all I've got to do now is connect the wire to it, push it through, jobs are good, and ain't got to take the leg shields off. go. One wire through, under the leg shields, ready to connect. So that's the connectors connected up. The gauge is installed. At this end we've got a bit of spare wire. Obviously there's plenty of room here because we've still got to work out how we're going to fix all the wires. Next thing we're going to do is connect the battery and see if it works in situ. I know it looks like a right bodge because it's not all fitted properly, but that's it all wired up to the system. So in theory, because the sender's in now, that's all connected through to there. The battery's connected to the system. That's my positive and negative for the battery that's going in the toolbox. And if I turn it on, well, the truth is where I make myself look a right idiot. Oh no. Fantastic. Well pleased with that. That's so easy to fit. So what I'm going to do now is tidy everything up, and then once it's all finished we'll come back and show you the finished item. Still a bit messy, but we've finished the wiring. And as you can see, I've wired everything into a junction box, and I found this excellent Oxford product junction box. So basically one power in, and then you get 1, 2, 3, 4 bits, so you can have your SIP speedo, rev counter, fuel gauge, and then a charging lead for your phone. You can probably have a few more than that if you want. So that's it all wired in. I've put a little switch in so I can turn it on and off, which is up here. And if the moment of truth now, let's connect the battery. Everything's fused there, and these are all separately fused. So here we go, ready? Fingers crossed. Yes, that's all working. That's working, that's working, and bloody hell that the SIP speedo's working. So there you go. Get the battery. Right, so that's going to be this video. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, give it a thumbs up, a subscribe, tell your mates, whatever. What do I think of the fuel gauge? For me, it's a no-brainer. It's going to stop me running out of fuel, and for the cost of them, why not? You can wire it in absolutely any way you want. Obviously I've gone a bit complicated with mine, but there you go. Right, yeah, okay. Thanks a lot. See you soon. Bye.
That's all, folks.